In services, they are opening 94% of their sectors. This is unprecedented. They have never opened that many of their sectors to any other group before, and they have opened a number of important sectors to us, sectors which they hadn't previously opened, like entertainment and culture. There we feel we have advantages and we can exploit those advantages, and they have opened them. On our side, our more developed countries are opening 75% of our sectors, and in the LDCs we are only opening 65%. So we are not giving them the same that we're getting. Many of our services sectors we're not supplying anyway. At one stage we had people complaining about maritime transport. We don't provide any maritime transport, but they wanted to exclude that sector. It didn't make any sense, and we're not likely to go into it immediately. So we have liberalized a lot of sectors, but in most of those sectors we're not going to disturb local producers. The second component is import liberalization. Now, import liberalization, we had to undertake to do 85% liberalization. But I invite you to notice the conditions. 85% means we exclude 15% of all our imports. What we did with that is to put every good on there that we think we can produce or we are actually producing. Therefore, anything that could affect our local producers, we have tried to insulate them. It's a long list. A lot of things on there that we're not now producing, and in my opinion, not going to produce in the foreseeable future, but we have earmarked it and said, look, we aspire to be self-sufficient in these food items. We leave that out. In addition, that which we are liberalizing, we have a 3-year moratorium on tariffs. We do nothing for 3 years. Meanwhile, I should have mentioned that the duty-free, quota-free has already gone into effect. It went into the effect on the 1st of January of this year. We haven't even signed the agreement. It's provisionally applied, but we already have the benefits. Ours, we don't start anything for 3 years. Then the adjustments, the liberalization will be done mostly in years 4 to 15. But in some cases, we're going to do this over 25 years. That's never happened in any trade agreement before. Now, if you can't adjust in 25 years, don't worry about it. You're not going to be in business, okay? If you need 25 years to adjust, you're not going to be in business. But we have 25 years for some things. Why? We're small and we need time to adjust. I would urge that we adjust much faster, but we have stretched out the adjustment. In terms of other duties and charges, which also can apply to imports, we have a 7-year moratorium. That means we'll adjust in years 8, 9, and 10. I will certainly hope to be retired. I hope poverty won't keep me working that long. I hope in 7 years I'll be away from all of this. But we have 7 years to do nothing on these things. It means we have 7 years to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it. On motor cars, which is a big ticket item for revenue, on motor vehicles, we're not going to do anything on the duties on motor vehicles for 10 years. So we have a long time to make this adjustment. Why I mention that is, remember I said we were dependent on trade taxes, our firms were small, we had limited adjustment capacity, we had limited institutions. All of this elongated, asymmetrically implemented schedule means that we have time to adjust, and it takes account of that. A third component is investment promotion. We have access to the European market. We have production conditions here, particularly our outstanding human resources. Together, that could make the Caribbean a platform for exporting to Europe. Is a vast market, 450 million consumers. If you get even a small percentage of that, that can be huge business in the Caribbean. The investment rules are such that We managed to insulate some sectors from foreign investment, particularly where you have small business and small enterprises. But in the other sectors, we've standardized rules because we welcome foreign investment. We welcome it in partnership, strategic corporate business alliances, joint ventures, etc. It's an opportunity for us to get investment. In addition, we have made the rules such that you can invest in Europe. And we don't think of ourselves as global investors, but why not? Realize that the affluent persons in the Caribbean have diversified their asset portfolios. They all have assets abroad. It's just that, as I was saying, when an American buys a holiday home in Jamaica, it's investment. But if a Jamaican buys an apartment in Miami, it's capital flight. We have to get away from the notion that, you know, it's unpatriotic not to invest here. If we want investment here, we must make it such that this is a desirable investment location. You can't compel anybody or induce anybody. So let's think of ourselves as global players. In the same way we export globally and we provide services globally, we can invest globally.